Hey there, Robbie W1RCP. We're playing around with the Xiegu X6100, Radioddity's new release, 8/31/2023 of the new firmware. And so first we're going to try to get Bluetooth to work and cat control. Unfortunately, things aren't clear cut and it's a pain. So if you're not up to the challenge, and certainly don't try this in the field for Parks on the Air, SOTA, any of those. This is W1RCP. Stay tuned and check out the steps on how to do it. First, we need to download the firmware update from Radioddity at http://radioddity.com. Select Support and then Xiegu, then click the X6100. Notice that I chose an older version. This works for any version. Wait for it to download. Next, unzip the files anywhere you'd like them. I use my downloads folder. Once it is unzipped, you'll insert an SD card into your computer and use Rufus to write the firmware update to that SD card. I recommend at least an 8 gig SD card. I keep a 32 gig SD card in my go bag with the radio. Make sure that you select the correct firmware and then click Start. And now it's going to ask you some questions, and you just click OK, making sure that you do the right one. And then you wait again. Once it's done, you can close that window, plug your radio into power, safely remove the SD card, and insert it into your Xiegu X6100's SD card slot. Now you will power on your X6100 and watch it write the files to the internal memory. Once this is complete, the radio will turn off. Remove the SD card. Next, you'll restart your X6100. Select System Settings soft key and use the MFK knob to select Firmware Upgrade and click the MFK to select. Push the Upgrade soft key and wait for the firmware to write. Meow, it's computer time. Restart your computer and go to the BIOS settings. Under the boot setting, disable secure boot. Save the settings and restart. Now we will need to install comm. Click Next and I agree, and select COM number to COM number and install. A few pop-up windows will appear and you might be asked more questions than you see on my screen. Once installed, click Launch Setup. I changed the port names to COM80 and COM81. Be sure that you use the ports class. Click Apply and then close the COM window. You can check in Device Manager that the COM ports exist. Now it's time to go back to the radio, click the System Settings soft key and use the MFK knob to scroll to Bluetooth. Center click the MFK knob to select. Please wait. Look for your computer name, then click the Connect soft key. Back to the computer. The computer will notify you that you can add a new device. Click Yes to pair the X6100. You'll see some more magic happen when you click the Yes. Next, you can check Device Manager again to see what port numbers were assigned to the Bluetooth connections. You'll be using the smaller number of the new ports. For this installation, I had to right-click on each of the Bluetooth ports and select Properties to set the port settings. You'll need a BPS of 19200, data bits of 8, parity is none, stop bits is 1, and flow control is none. Then click OK, and do this to the other COM port. You will need to know where your Hub for COM files have been unzipped. I forgot to show you that part. Now you need to open the command prompt. I have a folder on my C drive called ham that I keep the hammy stuff. I typed c:\ham/hub4com-2.1.0.0-386/hub.com.exe space /route equals capital A for all capital A all, and then space / dot .com4 space / dot .com80, and then hit enter. You should see what I saw. Now you can open N3FJPAC log and click the settings menu from the horizontal toolbar and click on Rig Interface. From here you'll need ICOM, COM81 or whatever you named your second port, 19.2 baud rate, parity none, connection power both, mode determined by rig, data bits 8, stop bits 1, and the radio polling rate is up to you. Everything else should be selected, but the command should be changed from hex 64 to hex 70 for read frequency and read mode. Click test and you should see the X6100's frequency and mode. Change it on the radio to make sure that it works before closing the window. If it doesn't work correctly, you might need to go back in time and check that you did everything correctly. For WSJTX, I've tried the X6100 settings, but I could not make it work. I've spared you the 10 minutes that I tried to no avail. It works just fine with the ICOM 7300 rig, data bits 8, stop bits 1, handshake default, force control lines DTR high and RTS high, PTT method cat, mode data packet, and split operation none. Click test cat and make sure that it turns green. If it does, then click Test PTT. Your radio should switch to TX with no output. For the audio settings tab, we still can't use Bluetooth audio. I don't know why it won't work, so you're still stuck with using the USB cable and USB sound card devices. You could use the Bluetooth cat control for your logger and then use the USB cable for WSJTX or other digital mode software. But the built-in USB sound card in the X6100 does work. Now we can make a Windows command file to connect the COM ports using Hub4Com quickly without having to remember the command and syntax. Copy the command or type it again once we create a new text file with the command file name extension. Right-click on your desktop, select New, then Text Document. I named mine X6100_Bluetooth.cmd. You'll be asked if you want to change the file name extension. Click Yes, you sure do. Right-click on this file, click Edit, and paste or type the Hub4Com command. Hit Enter, and then type Pause. This will keep the command window open until you're ready to close it. Save it and close the file. Now you can double-click the command file to get the ports talking to each other. Setting up WSJTX for digital modes with the X6100 is a story for another day. So far, the new firmware seems to work as it's intended to work. So I think the next thing I need to try is WFView and see what that's all about. I don't see myself using that in the field for parks on the air, but hey, you never know. Maybe they're onto something this time with this particular firmware. All but the audio. The Bluetooth audio doesn't seem to work. So maybe next time, if there is a next time, they'll actually do that. Hey, thanks for watching the whole video. I'm W1RCP, and until next time.
GoPro, stop capture.